Dear students, welcome to the third lecture of convective heat transfer. We were discussing the signification of some non-dimensional numbers. Right? In this lecture, we will discuss the physical signification of Prandtl number and some more numbers. So the question was, write the physical signification of following non-dimensional numbers. Here each number carries 2 marks. Right? The first 4 numbers, Reynolds number, Nusselt number, Prandtl number and Grashof number, have been asked many times in GTU exam. Right? And the remaining means Stanton number, Peclet number and Grage number have been asked rarely. So let's start with the some revision. Reynolds number, we know that Reynolds number is equal to inertia force by viscous force. Inertia force is responsible for the motion, viscous force opposes the motion. So we have discussed that if the Reynolds number is high, then inertia force and velocity is high and it leads to the turbulent flow. If Reynolds number is less, then it is the laminar flow. Then we have discussed the Nusselt number. Nusselt number is equal to HL by K. If we rearrange these terms, then we get the thermal resistance for the conduction to the thermal resistance for convection. Means if the value of Nusselt number is high, then it is suitable condition for the convection because the thermal resistance for the conduction is high. Right? कंडक्शन के लिए रेजिस्टेंस हाई है तो कंडीशन किसके लिए सुटेबल होगी, कन्वेक्शन के लिए. राइट. Then we have discussed all these things in last lecture. So today we will discuss the Prandtl number. Prandtl number was given by Lewin-Prandtl. This number is connecting link between the velocity boundary layer and thermal boundary layer. Now you will think that what is the velocity boundary layer, what is the thermal boundary layer. Now consider this picture. Here one boat is moving in a water body. Right? So you can see that some boundary layer formation around the boat. Right? This is the velocity boundary layer. Let's understand this in somewhat detail. Consider one heated plate is kept in a flow of fluid, say air, in x direction. So a boundary layer will be formed around the plate. Right? In y direction, for the very first layer, when y is equal to 0, the layer has no velocity, means it is a stagnant layer. Here u is equal to 0 because of the no slip condition. We have discussed this in our first lecture. Let velocity of the ambient air is 40 km per hour. Right? So at certain distance, say at 5 centimeter, here the velocity exit on the boundary layer point is 39 km per hour, means it is somewhat less than 40. Right? So till this point there is a difference in velocity of free stream and velocity near to the plate. Right? So this distance is known as velocity boundary layer thickness delta. Right? Here the velocity is 0 and at boundary layer point the velocity is 99% of the free stream velocity. Right? And this distance for the particular x is known as delta. It is the velocity boundary layer thickness. Similarly, let's consider some another distance x, say 15 centimeter. Now if the surface temperature of the plate is 100 degrees Celsius and the ambient temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Right? So one thermal boundary layer will be formed. Thermal boundary layer means if you keep your hand near to the plate, right, you will feel some heat, and as you move from up to certain level you will feel the heat, and after some point there will be a no temperature difference and you cannot feel the hotness. Right? Say here the temperature is 31 degrees Celsius, means is just 1 degree higher than the ambient temperature. Here the temperature difference is maximum. T surface minus T infinitive is 70 degree, whereas at boundary layer point the temperature difference is minimum, right? So this thickness delta T is known as thermal boundary layer thickness. Now Prandtl number is connecting link between delta and delta T, right? So we have one thermal boundary layer. It may be outside or it may be inside of the velocity boundary layer, and one velocity boundary layer or say momentum boundary layer. So what is the Prandtl number? You need to remember this thing. Prandtl number is equal to mu Cp by K. There is no need to think how this equation came, right? Because it is empirical equation. It came from the experimentation. So Prandtl number is equal to mu Cp by K. If we rearrange the terms, it is mu by rho, which is the nu, means dynamic viscosity, and K by rho C, it is the alpha, it is a thermal diffusivity. You have learned the thermal diffusivity alpha in the lecture of conduction, right? So here Prandtl number is the ratio of efficacy of momentum transfer to the efficacy of heat transfer. What is efficacy? Efficacy is somewhat efficiency and capacity, means here it is the efficacy of momentum transfer, means easiness with which one can flow, and here efficacy of heat transfer means easiness with which one can transmit the heat. So the Prandtl number, what you need to write? You need to write the equation, and that Prandtl number is a connecting link between velocity field and temperature field. So Prandtl number is nearly equal to ratio of delta by delta T. Delta is velocity boundary layer and delta T is the thermal boundary layer thickness. For the gas, delta is nearly equal to delta T because the thickness of velocity boundary layer and thickness of thermal boundary layer is almost same for the gaseous fluid. For the oils, the delta means velocity boundary layer thickness is somewhat greater than the delta T. Why? Because oil can flow easily, right? But oils are not good conducting material. We cannot feel the heat far away from the plate, right? So here del T is lesser and delta is greater. And for the liquid metal, now we know that liquid metal cannot flow easily, right? Therefore delta is very much less and delta T is very much greater because metals are good conductor, right? Thus value of Prandtl number strongly influences relative growth of velocity and thermal boundary layer. Here delta is velocity boundary layer, delta T is the thermal boundary layer, and N is positive exponent. For the gas, Prandtl number is nearly equal to 1. For the oils, it is of order 100, and for the liquid metal, it is of order 0.01. Now next is the Grashof number. The Grashof number is the product of buoyant force with the ratio of inertia force to the square of viscous force. Now you need to memorize this formula. In many universities, design data book is given, right? In that case there is no need to memorize this number, but in GTU you will not provide a design data book. So remember this thing, Grashof number is equal to rho square L cube beta G delta T by mu. Rho is the density, kg per meter cube, L is the characteristic length, beta is a constant and it is equal to 1 upon average temperature. We will see this thing in example calculations, right? G is the gravitational acceleration, 9.8 meter per second square. Delta T is the temperature difference and mu is the viscosity. The natural convection start with the very small number of Grashof number and increases with increases in GR. Now GR, Grashof number, is connected with the natural convection, right? Because G is there. We have discussed this thing in a first lecture in natural convection mechanism, right? Natural convection occurs because of the gravitational acceleration, right? So the role of Grashof number is similar to the role of Reynolds number, but Reynolds number is used for the forced convection, whereas Grashof number is used for the natural convection. Grashof number provides criteria for the fluid whether it is laminar or turbulent, but it is for the natural convection. The critical Grashof number is 109 for a flow over a vertical plate. We have discussed the horizontal plate. Now if we consider the vertical plate, then the critical Grashof number means a number at which laminar flow become turbulent. So the critical Grashof number is 109 for a flow over a vertical plate for changing the flow from laminar to turbulent. Now next is a Stanton number. Stanton number is the ratio of convective heat transfer coefficient H to the heat flux per unit temperature gradient due to velocity of fluid. H is the convective heat transfer coefficient, and here rho v Cp is the heat flux. Now you will think that how sir rho v Cp is a heat flux. Now let see this thing. If we resolve this term for the units, unit of rho is kg per meter cube, velocity is meter per second, and Cp is the specific heat, right? Specific heat means amount of heat, means kilojoule, amount of heat required for unit mass to change the temperature through 1 degree, means kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So what is the unit? It is a kilojoule per meter cube Kelvin Celsius. Now kilojoule per second is a watt, right? Kilowatt per meter square is the heat flux, right? We have discussed this thing, that heat flux is the heat transfer per unit area. So ultimately it is the heat flux for the unit temperature gradient, because K is here, right? So it is the heat flux for the unit temperature gradient due to velocity of fluid, right? So if we rearrange these terms, Stanton number is equal to Nu by Re into Pr. Again you will think how this number came, but do not think for that, because it is an empirical correlation and it is derived from the experimentation. So you need to remember only these things. Stanton number is equal to Nu divided by Re into Pr. Now what is the signification? The Stanton number is used for calculating the Nusselt number in examples of the heat transfer. Means if Stanton number is known, then we can calculate the Nusselt number, because Re and Pr depends on the properties, right? So if Stanton number is given, we can calculate the Nusselt number. It is worthy noting that Stanton number can be used only in correlation of the forced convection, because it V is there. Now next is a Peclet number. It is the ratio of mass flow heat rate for the convection to the flow rate by conduction under the unit temperature gradient through the thickness L. We have discussed these terms in the Nusselt number, right? So it is rho v Cp as discussed in previous number, and K by L, because delta T is unit, right, and area is unit. So if we rearrange the term, it is L means characteristic length into velocity by alpha. Alpha is the thermal diffusivity, right? K by rho C. So Peclet number can be written as Pe is equal to Re into Pr, and it is equal to L into V by alpha. What is the signification of Peclet number? Same. It is used in correlations for calculating the heat transfer, right? Now Graves number. Graves number is only useful for the flow through the pipe. G is equal to mCp by Lk. M is the mass, Cp is the specific heat of the fluid, L is equal to length of pipe, and K is equal to conductivity of the pipe material. Now if we rearrange these terms, here it is the heat capacity of fluid per unit length, right? Cp is equal to specific heat, kilojoule per kg Kelvin, right? If we multiply by kg, then it is kilojoule per Kelvin, means it is the heat capacity for the unit length of pipe divided by K is the conductivity of the pipe material. If we put the value of mass, mass is equal to density kg per meter cube into volume meter cube, means it is the kg, right? So it is pi by 4 rho Vd by mu into mu Cp by K into D by L. Rho is the density, V is the velocity, and D is the characteristic diameter, means pipe diameter. So if we put the value, it is pi by 4 Re into PR. And what is the signification of the Graves number? Graves number is useful for the correlations for calculating the heat transfer through the pipe. So here ending this question. If you have any question, query or doubt, you can post in comment section.